Hello and welcome to Learn English Through Stories. Today we have a funny and meaningful story for you. It is called The Lazy Cat. This story is about a cat who loves to eat, sleep, and do nothing. She doesn't like to play. She doesn't like to chase mice. She doesn't even want to move. But one day, something unexpected happens. And this lazy cat must make an important decision. So, are you ready? Let's begin the story. Once upon a time, in a quiet little village, there was a beautiful white cat named Lulu. Lulu lived with her owner, Mrs. Brown, in a small, cozy house at the edge of the village. Lulu had soft white fur like snow and big green eyes that sparkled in the sunlight. Everyone who saw her said she was a very pretty cat. Mrs. Brown loved Lulu very much. She always gave her the best food and a warm place to sleep. But there was one big problem. Lulu was extremely lazy. She spent most of her time lying near the fireplace or sleeping on the soft red cushion in the living room. Every morning, Lulu woke up slowly. She stretched her legs, arched her back, and yawned loudly. Then she walked to the kitchen and meowed loudly. Meow, meow, breakfast please. Mrs. Brown always gave Lulu a bowl of warm milk and a plate of fresh fish. Lulu ate quickly, licking her whiskers happily. After that, she went straight back to her favorite cushion and fell asleep again. Mrs. Brown often tried to play with Lulu. Come here, Lulu, look at this ball of yarn. Mrs. Brown would toss the colorful ball across the floor. But Lulu just lay on her side and blinked slowly. She lifted one paw, then dropped it again. Meow, maybe later, she whispered. Mrs. Brown sighed. Oh, Lulu, you never want to play. Even when Mrs. Brown waved a feather toy in front of her, Lulu just closed her eyes and went back to sleep. She was happy doing nothing at all. One sunny afternoon, while Lulu was napping near the window, a small mouse sneaked into the kitchen. The mouse ran across the floor and grabbed a piece of cheese. Then it ran away quickly. Mrs. Brown saw the mouse and screamed. Oh no, a mouse! Lulu, quick, catch it! Lulu opened one eye and looked at the mouse. She watched it run, but didn't move. Mrs. Brown clapped her hands loudly. Go, Lulu, chase the mouse. But Lulu just yawned and said softly, meow, I'm too tired right now. The mouse stopped for a second, looked back, and laughed at Lulu. Then it ran into a hole in the wall and disappeared. Mrs. Brown was shocked. She knelt down beside Lulu and said, Oh dear, you are the laziest cat I've ever seen. You didn't even try to help. Lulu purred quietly and rolled onto her back, ready to fall asleep again. From that day on, the mouse became braver and braver. It came back every night to steal bread, cheese, and even some cookies from the kitchen. And each time, Lulu just lay there, doing nothing. One cold winter night, Mrs. Brown went to bed early. The house was dark and very quiet. Lulu was sleeping near the warm fireplace as usual. Suddenly, the window creaked open. A thief climbed inside, moving very quietly. The thief whispered to himself, No dog here, only a lazy cat. Easy job for me. He tiptoed across the room. taking bread, milk, and even some money from the table. Lulu saw everything with half-open eyes. She knew this man didn't belong in the house, but she was too sleepy to move. Meow, too much work, she thought. I'll just sleep a little longer. The thief chuckled softly when he saw her. "Ha, what a useless cat," he whispered. Then he climbed out of the window and disappeared into the night. The next morning, Mrs. Brown woke up to a terrible mess. The table was empty. The bread and milk were gone. Even her small bag of coins was missing. She gasped and said, "Oh no, a thief was here last night." Mrs. Brown looked at Lulu with tears in her eyes. "Lulu, you were right here. Why didn't you stop him?" Lulu yawned and stretched. "Meow, I was sleepy," she said softly. Mrs. Brown shook her head sadly. "Oh, Lulu, what am I going to do with you?" A few days later, Mrs. Brown was cooking lunch in the kitchen. Lulu was, of course, lying near the fireplace, dreaming of fish and milk. Suddenly, a loud barking sound filled the yard. Woof, woof, woof. Mrs. Brown dropped her spoon in surprise. She ran to the window and saw a big, scary dog outside. "Oh dear, that dog looks dangerous," she whispered. The dog noticed Lulu through the window and started barking louder. Woof, woof, woof. Lulu opened her eyes lazily and saw the dog. At first, she didn't care. "Meow, noisy dog," she muttered. But then the dog jumped up, putting its paws on the window ledge. Lulu's fur stood on end. Her tail puffed up like a bottle brush. For the first time in her life, Lulu felt truly afraid. The dog barked again, louder than before. Woof, woof, woof. Lulu let out a loud "shh" and jumped straight into Mrs. Brown's arms. Mrs. Brown quickly grabbed a broom and chased the dog away. The dog ran down the road, barking angrily. Mrs. Brown hugged Lulu tightly and said, "There, there, my poor Lulu. It's okay. You're safe now." Lulu trembled in her arms. For the first time, Lulu understood how scary it felt when danger came and no one helped you. The next morning, Lulu sat by the window, thinking quietly. She remembered the dog. She remembered how scared she had been. Then she thought about the mouse and the thief. What if danger comes again, she thought. What if Mrs. Brown needs me and I just sleep? Lulu looked at her paws. Maybe, just maybe, it was time to do something. At that very moment, the mouse appeared again, running across the kitchen floor. The mouse laughed and said, "Ha! You'll never catch me, lazy cat!" But Lulu's green eyes flashed. Before the mouse could reach the cheese, Lulu leaped forward. "Meow!" she cried. The mouse squeaked in shock. "Ah, you moved?" Lulu pounced and trapped the mouse under her paws. The mouse wriggled and begged. "Please, let me go." Lulu hissed softly and said, "No more stealing food from this house." Mrs. Brown ran into the kitchen and gasped. "Oh my goodness, Lulu, you caught the mouse!" Lulu purred proudly. From that day, the mouse never came back. A week later, Mrs. Brown went to visit her sister in another village. She left Lulu alone in the house for the night. That evening, the same thief returned. He whispered to himself, Last time, it was easy. That lazy cat won't stop me. He opened the window quietly and stepped inside. But this time, Lulu was ready. Her green eyes glowed in the dark. The thief laughed softly. "Oh, you again. Still useless, I see." Suddenly, Lulu let out a loud hiss. Hiss! Meow! She leaped at the thief with all her strength, scratching and biting. The thief screamed. "Ah! Get away from me!" He dropped his bag and ran out of the house as fast as he could. The neighbors heard the noise and came running. They saw Lulu standing proudly by the window. "Wow, what a brave cat," one neighbor said. When Mrs. Brown returned the next morning, the neighbors told her what happened. Mrs. Brown hugged Lulu tightly. "Oh, Lulu, you protected our home." "I'm so proud of you." Lulu purred happily and rubbed her head against Mrs. Brown's cheek. From that day on, Lulu was no longer just a lazy cat. She still enjoyed napping near the warm fireplace. But she also played, chased mice, and guarded the house. Mrs. Brown smiled and said, "My Lulu is the bravest and best cat in the village." Lulu meowed proudly. "Meow, I may rest sometimes, but I will always protect my home." And so, Lulu learned an important lesson. It's okay to rest. But when danger comes, you must be ready to act. She became a hero, and she and Mrs. Brown lived happily ever after. Even the laziest person, or cat, can do great things when they decide to take action. Thank you for listening to Learn English Through Stories. Today's story was The Lazy Cat. Listen again, repeat the sentences, and practice your English every day. The more you listen, the better your English will become. Goodbye, and see you next time.